be the fourth State of the Region address. This is usually the period in which this activity takes place. Of course, a few weeks ago, we saw the governor of the Kavango West region, Sirka Osiko, deliver her State of the Region address. Just this week, on Monday, Laura McLeod-Kashirwa, governor of the Commerce region, delivered her address. And on Tuesday, we saw Governor Aletta Frederick of the Karas region deliver her address. And today, we shift our focus and our gaze to the Hardap region, where Governor April will in a few moments deliver his State of the Region address, accounting for activities and developments that took place during the 2023-2024 fiscal year, and of course coming into this current financial year, 2024-2025. But before we of course shift into the chambers where the Governor will be delivering his address, I'm joined here on set by two very prominent figures here in the Hardap region, two very prominent figures at the very helm of development, youth development, as well as education here in the Hardap region. And they are namely Ivan Peters, who of course leads, that is the sports, represents the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service as the regional head through, of course, the Marintel Youth Center as well. And he's joined alongside Ms. Asamta Kauseb, who is the Acting Director for Education here in the Hardap region. And they'll help us understand the dynamics as far as youth and education is concerned in this part of the country. Lady, gentlemen, a very good morning, and thank you so much for being with us. How are we doing this morning?
Very good, thank you.
Very good? Very excited?
Very excited, yes.
Big day indeed.
Yes.
Day indeed, yes.
Perhaps just to backtrack a bit, maybe just introduce yourselves. I did, of course, talk about what you guys do here in the region, but you guys can perhaps give us more insight into your roles here in the region. Yes, Ms. Kauseb, yes.
Right, thank you so much. Yes, I'm the substantive Chief Colon Education Officer for Programs and Quality Assurance in the region. That essentially means dealing with schools and hostels in the region. Thank
Fantastic.
you.
Yeah. Ivan,
Yeah, Ivan Peters, I'm actually representing the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service in the Hardap region. Our mandate falls for out-of-school youth within the age limit of 18 up to 35 years of age. So it's basically about youth development that I'm trying to spearhead.
Very much. And how is that journey going?
Well, you know, it's an up and down journey, obviously, because we do not manage to address all the challenges that young people are having. Challenges that are coming up are diverse, and they are changing with the trend. Previously, we did not face different challenges that we are facing today, but we are still keeping strong. We are getting, the fight is going on.
Very much indeed. Ms. Kauseb, of course, you are part of the education system here in the Hardap region. You really have a front row seat as far as education is concerned here in the region. You just give us a general overview of the state of affairs here as far as education is concerned here.
Yes. Yes, in the Hardap region, we have, since the introduction of the revised curriculum, we have actually shown significant growth in our grade 12 AS level learner performance, where every year a bigger number of learners have qualified to go to AS level. On the other side of the coin though, our grade 11s, we really need to strengthen our efforts to get more learners to qualify for AS level in general. So there is where I think we really need all hands on deck to get the masses to benefit from opportunities out there.
Very much.
Yeah.
Obviously, the revision of the curriculum was a growing pain for Namibia. I remember the uproar in early 2022, if I'm not mistaken, of course, following those results announcement in December. And really, it was described as a growing pain. We had from the executive directors, we heard from the minister and Minister Ngipondoka that this will take some time to really take effect and for you to see the fruits of this revised curriculum. As far as it taking hold here in the region, how would you describe that journey?
Yes, for Hardap region, it has been the same. We've also had the growing pains. What I can say is that we've really tried to make remarkable improvements in terms of the quality of teachers that we appoint. We have more qualified teachers in our system currently. We still are struggling with elements such as dropouts, absenteeism, and of course, poverty or malnutrition in our region is also a major contributing factor leading to absenteeism at schools. However, I do believe that we are applying the necessary interventions, but as you said earlier, it will take time. And we are also still mitigating the impacts of COVID, especially in terms of meeting basic competencies in the various syllabuses. So we've also felt the pain, but I also think if you look at our AS, we are slowly but surely venturing through that pain and also getting to a better place.
I remember the Hardap region was always known to be a very good performance as far as education is concerned. You mentioned dropouts, and unfortunately, that situation lands on the lap of Mr. Ivan Peters here, who of course is part of the Ministry of Youth, Sports and National Development, National Service, pardon me. Talk to us about the conducive environment that you tried to create for many of these youth. Obviously, there was a big uproar when many of them could not qualify for AS level, etc. Many parents asking, where do our children go to, etc. What has been the answer from the Hardap region to that big question?
Well, we have tried, although it's a starting phase, that it was fortunate enough that Kaikanahap Skills Training Center has been revamped to be turned into a fully fledged vocational training college. The unfortunate thing is that we did not start the part of the vocational training college yet, because there are some logistical hold-ups. But we have kicked off with Kaikanahap. It's actually a good thing, especially for the Hardap regional young people that have, as Council was mentioning, drop out of school, because the skills training is actually a bridge that allows the young people that could not make it through to grade 12, for example, to get a qualification or a certificate for them to qualify for the vocational training college. So I think that's, in a sense, it's a great effort from the Hardap region. However, looking at the population and the number of young people that we are having in the region and all over Namibia, it's just a drop in the ocean, but it's a start. So I think if we have more and more of these institutions in the Hardap region, definitely we could absorb some of the young people. Apart from it, our ministry itself is having different programs that's running in terms of providing skills training, more especially into entrepreneurship. And there is a minimal loan that we also give out to young people, even though the budget is not enough. However, I'm thankful for the government, Ministry of Finance, for giving us additional budget as a ministry. But believe you me, we need more if we want to address the issues at hand within the region.
How soon can we expect the full operationalization of the vocational training center?
It's a difficult question because it's twofold. We have two different ministries that are try to combine. We have the Ministry of Higher Education together with Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service. So in terms of the logistical arrangement, I would not be able to give you a straightforward answer. But I'm hoping that hopefully before the end of the year we might. But please don't put me on record. I'm just being hopeful.
Very much indeed. We'll accept that response. There's always that big question around decentralizing some of these services. And I mean, the Hardap region is massive. It literally stretches from the Atlantic on our coast right into Kgalagadi, into our border with Botswana. And obviously there are a lot of towns, a lot of villages, a lot of settlements around, places like Marintal, etc. Talk to us about decentralizing these services to make sure that every youth, every person has an opportunity to some of these, or access to some of these opportunities here.
It's actually a great idea. It's in the process. However, it did not fully already turn to decentralization. But if we do, it would definitely help a lot of young people. As you have mentioned, it's a vast region. And not in terms of only our ministry, but we think that all the different line ministries are needed in the region. Sometimes the perception is that if there is a particular office in Karas, for example, then it addresses both Hardap and Karas. And I think it's a wrong perception. Each region is on its own. So it should be treated that way. But decentralization is definitely the way forward. And I think through that we can also increase the resources that we have, the human resource, even the capital resource and whatever, so that we can try and address the issues at hand where they are, because sometimes we leave out the young people in the rural areas when we concentrate only on the urban centers.
Absolutely.
Due to the lack of resources that we are having.
Very much indeed. Of course, if you just joined us, you are watching this special live broadcast coming from the Hardap Regional Council here at the capital of the Hardap region. We're in the town of Marintal, where in a few moments we're expecting Governor Salomon to, of course, deliver the 2024 State of the Region address. Just to make a quick announcement as well that you can, of course, follow the fish rod trial on NBC2. You can follow those proceedings as they unravel there in court. Meanwhile, we'll continue with our pre-discussion to that SORA and, of course, just getting an understanding of what the dynamics are here in the region. Ms. Kausab, just coming back to the issue of education, we know that funding can never be enough, but we know that this year also government has made really substantive commitments to improving education across the country.
Yes.
Looking at the budget allocation for the Hardap region, it's not enough, but I'm sure it's very welcomed. How welcomed is it here?
It's absolutely accepted with a warm heart. There's a lot that we want to do, but we are currently focusing on embracing the digital era.
Yes.
We are looking at teaching and learning in the classroom and bringing technology into that. So in terms of giving access to all our schools for internet, being able to use interactive devices, smart boards, to be able to have a lesson in one rural setting connected to another class in another rural setting. They're all seeing the same, enjoying the same lesson, interacting. So we're exploring that currently with our funds. And then also because the element of malnutrition, hunger, we're also currently putting in additional funding for after-school learning programs, specifically focusing on learning support. Of course, the catering companies in the regions is usually a very big cost driver for the region, but we have realized the link between a hungry child cannot learn. So we are extending our teaching and learning time to the afternoons, plowing in additional funding for catering to be provided, for additional teaching and learning to take place to cover the syllabus, and just extending the teaching and learning day. So that's where some of the funds are going. And of course, we're also exploring skills development. We have, currently we have a technical school in Reebord, MNK Gertse. We have a resource school at Kleinop Resource that have a number of hard and soft trades. And then we are receiving increasing demands from our schools for various technical subjects to come on board. So we are really investing in curriculum extension, whether it's fashion and fabrics, whether it's home economics or design and technology. We're really trying to see how we can get more schools in the region to have a technical subject on board. So a lot of curriculum extension and plowing the funds towards renovation to get the equipment and the labs or the workshops in place.
In place, very much.
Yeah.
And a big part of that is also ensuring that, you know, we cater to the surrounding schools, you know, outside of the urban settings like Marintal, etc. Talk to us about the commitment towards that. We saw, of course, budget allocation towards the development, the building of classrooms for a number of schools, etc.
Yes.
How will this go a long way? And also, it of course also takes off the pressure, the burden of being in the urban setting, people coming to the urban setting, need for classrooms, need for hostel space, all of that, etc.
That's right, that's right. You are 100% with that one. What we see a lot is rural-urban migration. We see that a lot in Gibeon, where it has a high school, but the learners would come to Marintal. So now we're extending that curriculum in Gibeon with design and technology. And that school has in fact performed quite well over the last couple of years, which is also changing the narrative. Sometimes there's a narrative that only urban schools perform. So that is already revamping that narrative in that rural town, as well as another concept we are looking at is extending AS level to all our senior secondary schools. So we have senior secondary schools, 11 of them. So we don't want to only extend to AS level in rural areas. We are extending AS level in Aranos, in Kogas, in Wagenas, in Gibeon, in Malteye, in Slip, so that the learner that finishes grade 11 there has access to grade 12 in his or her local town, as opposed to now having to move to Marintal or Rebo to get AS level. So that's where we're trying to really capacitate the rural areas so that they can equally compete.
Very big plans in place indeed. I can see more and more people passing and making their way towards the auditorium, meaning that, of course, the governor will soon be making his way as well, talking about the governor, talking about the State of the Region address. Mr. Peters, your expectations, what would you like to see, what would you like to hear as really a youth advocate, really a youth driver, and of course representing the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Service here?
Yeah, I'm expecting the governor to have a holistic approach about the regional development. He'll probably touch on different sectors, mostly on the economic sector. I hope that he would definitely advocate for the agricultural sector, because that's the sector that in Hardap we are lacking. We don't actually make potentially use of what we are having. In terms of the youth unemployment, you know, it's an issue all over Namibia. So in a way, each region should come up with a particular plan how they can try and address this bit by bit. If we can do it little bit, maybe we can try and curb it. So agriculture is a way for me to go, which I think, I hope the governor is going to advocate for it. Apart from it, Hardap region is known for its tourism sectors. However, I don't see a huge emphasis being put on it, so much so that we don't channel our young people and youth to go into that particular sector. Arts and culture is one of the parts that definitely is being lacked in the Hardap region. It does not receive appropriate attention. Yes, I would have loved to see. So probably if the governor would advocate for that particular part, and maybe talk a little bit about land, because that's a burning issue for people in the region as well. Not only land for farming, but some people only need land, for example, to stay on. And housing issue has been a lot, it's a great effect. And the urban-rural migration, rural-urban migration that we're having is causing a huge burden on the towns and the villages that we are having. And definitely
on service delivery as well.
On service delivery. So it all plays a role. Once you are not accommodative, different aspects like malnutrition is coming in, and it affects the education system of young children, which end up to become our customers, which we gladly accept as a ministry. So I hope the governor is going to touch and advocate for the regional, what we have as a region. So that probably investors listening through the SORA would know that there are different areas which they can come and invest on, and through that we can try and, you know, uplift the whole youth in the Hardap region.
I think it's a lot of expectations first and foremost. I won't be surprised if the governor and his team are really looking at that speech right now and trying to change a few things right now. I have a lot of expectations there indeed. Samta, from you, what are your hopes what would you like to hear? And I know, of course, obviously education is at your very heart, but what are your expectations for the State of the Region address?
I think one of the challenges we have in the region with regard to education is the fact that we do not have a tertiary institution. Our learners' socioeconomic background does not enable them to be able to go to a tertiary institution outside the region, to have hostel fees, let alone tuition fees, right? So if we can really get a tertiary institution, that is the one element. We have a vocational training center now, thanks to the Ministry of Youth and Higher Education. And formal education will also try to strengthen what we supply so that the learners can go to vocational. The other element, of course, is that due to the socioeconomic background of the communities in the region, learners that do qualify to go to tertiary institution cannot afford. So we would really like to see an advocation for a scholarship program, because we really need to show the learners that this group of 50 learners, they got an opportunity, and I know the governor is a forerunner with that. Obtaining scholarships. Recently there were learners that went to China. But if we can really engage various stakeholders to get a scholarship, standing scholarship program for the region, where we can lobby learners from various schools to say, your marks, your results need to be like this. This is what you will stand in chance to have an opportunity for. We will really stimulate the youth for that performance to obtain those opportunities.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Education, land, housing, a lot of issues to be addressed indeed. And there have been strides. Obviously, there have been strides. But what would you highlight as perhaps some of the areas that we have not done enough in, that we should perhaps? You've highlighted some of those briefly, but of course perhaps other areas. And of course, Ivan, you spoke about the social issues here. And I always tell people it's nice for us to sit here, use big English and talk about this and talk about that. But the reality of the ground, and I was in the township of Marintal here yesterday. I got to speak to some of the guys on the ground, and you'd hear somebody say that, look, we're encouraged to apply and make use of opportunities, etc., which we do, but somehow those opportunities just never reach the youth, so to say. Issues around drug abuse, issues around alcohol abuse, gender-based violence, the crime rate, etc., all of those issues, which are really our day-to-day issues. What more can be done to address those?
Well, I believe these issues that we are facing is merely because young people are not occupied with productive activities. And unfortunately, the lack of productive activities are causing them to stray into those different activities.
You say an idle mind is a devil's playground.
As much as we would like to blame the youth, on the other hand, I believe that we need to do more. For example, if I can take some of our programs that we are having, where we teach the young people about entrepreneurship skills, and then we give them a minimum loan to start their business. It's like asking them to swim without knowing how to swim. I was advocating or hoping that maybe as a government we should come and then look at how we can provide particular markets for these young people. Say if you have a group of young people in Slip, for example, that are interested in opening up a bakery, I mean, Minister of Education should give them a tender for the year to buy bread from them, even though it's minimal. I mean, that way we can try and substantiate the plea of the young people. Apart from it, as I've mentioned before, there's different opportunities for young people. We only mostly concentrate on white-collar jobs. But as I've mentioned before, agriculture is one of the ways that we can go. I've heard about the Nekadal project that is still in plan. So if it kickstarts, probably you will have young people that would have their plots where they can have their production and get fees from. Apart from it, arts and culture, I'm going to emphasize that as well. Because not every young person is interested in being a doctor, a nurse, or whatever. But then we lack to live out those skills that they are having. I'm happy that Minister of Education is looking at introducing into their curriculum different traits that are there.
Absolutely.
I was asking myself, or actually telling myself, imagine if a young child at grade 7, for example, starts bricklaying. By the time he's grade 12, that guy would be an expert in building. So why don't, as a country, why don't we move towards that? And then I think that's the way that probably would get a lot of young people off the street.
And the acting director is here to make sure that we do, of course, to make sure that vocational education is right up there with any other form of education. Just as we conclude, and of course, are prepared to hand over to the governor, just perhaps your final sentiments for this segment, and perhaps also just a word of encouragement to the people of Hardap as far as really taking ownership of our lives, our livelihoods, and making sure that we play a positive and impactful role in our region.
That's right. Yes, indeed. We've stand together for many big projects, and as a region we've pulled it off. So I would really like to call on our parents in particular. Our Education Act 3 of 2020 makes it very clear what is the expectation for the parents in terms of access to education for your child. So I would really like to plead to our parents to improve their involvement in the education of their children. And then, of course, we have so much support from the various line ministries we actually share the same child. Ministry of Youth, Ministry of Health, Ministry of Defense, Gender. We are sharing the same child, and we all have a role to play. And we've enjoyed immense support from the various line ministries. My plea is just that we continue to strengthen each other as we ensure that our youth make a difference in this region. We can. The important thing is for us to be united.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Very important. Ivan?
Yeah, I would actually love the public to know and listen very carefully when the governor is going to have his address.
Yes.
Definitely he's going to talk about improvements that was made. We should remember that each and every small step counts.
Absolutely.
Obviously, overnight you will not achieve a huge, great things, but definitely each step will get you there. And like it was alluded to, we all have a role to play, all of us. It's not only the government or the Ministry of what, but definitely as parents, as community members, even as young people, we all have a role to play in order to develop this country.
Absolutely. Ivan Peters, Assumpta Kausa, thank you so much for being with us. Of course, we will be crossing over to the chambers in a bit. Of course, here the 2024 State of the Region address, the last State of the Region address as well for Governor April, so I'm sure this will be a memorable one for him. Of course, those are our guests as we take a pre-look at the State of the Region address. Experts in youth matters, experts in education being at the helm of these particular sectors for quite some time, and making sure that, of course, we drive these sectors to the very fore. We are here in Marintel at the Hardap Regional Council, the capital town of the Hardap region. And as I mentioned, of course, the governor will be delivering his State of the Region address. But before that, we took you to the streets of Marintel, and these are some of the expectations of the citizens.
kan sta di ba da khum je ka shi ti da khin ke sa ba ta mi diri da ge ge u ha I kha ba da ge ta mi diri da u ha o su bu ba da ge ka ai ta mi rang ama mari da ga wat ma I o du da ge kom ro ba rang la khu ka ka kha ba jing la khu ka shi
a tri-road a bit. In the housing, it's also a problem in the Namibian village.
Facing a big problem. So like if we are talking about Hardap region, also there is a lot of problems like job opportunities that the young people are not having, especially if we are talking about the youth. So there is a lot of sufferings in regard with food securities and such.
As a youngster in Kalgrant, we face a lot of lack of employment, lack of education, and lack of youth activities in Kalgrant.
People nowadays don't want to hire everybody, especially the people in the managers of the ranks in departments, rather hire their own family to work for them. So they don't really want to take everybody into companies, so people are unemployed.
There might be opportunities, but lack of businesses in Kalgrant, there is a lack of employment, and when it's regarding schools, I don't think kids are quite motivated to go to school. They just want to be in the streets with alcohol abuse and drug abuse.
So from a youth perspective, Kalgrant is it has a slow economic, and we don't have job opportunities yet.
I am happy with council's work. We had water, which was expensive, but now it was made easier for us, and we are buying water now. It's only a challenge if we don't have money. We are buying both water and electricity.
The problem that I have is about the kids that are not going to school and stays at the farm. Some children are dropping out of the school and stay in front of shops, begging money from tourists, and that is very shameful, especially for us, the elders, and also touches me.
Let's also remember them as they went to the eternity. Let's have a moment of silence for the two of them. Thank you. Everybody might sit. Today is a special council meeting. Allow me to acknowledge the honorable members of this house, Honorable Harold James Gambrudi, the Member of Parliament, Honorable Salomon Henry Boyce, Member of the Management Committee, Honorable Densia Swarboy, the alternate member, the only alternate member in the Hardap in Regional Council, and then Honorable PJ Esterhazy, member of the seat. Especially today is the day that the governor is going to give us the State of the Region address, and therefore the key person today here, Honorable Salomon Mendoza-Pearl. I acknowledge your presence in the House. Firstly, we have the decorum. The quorum is there. Everything is happening. Please also allow me to acknowledge today the mayor of the town, the capital of Hardap region, Marinta municipality, also in presence. I do see his worship, the mayor of Kitmanswap. I saw him earlier. Is he present? I don't see his face here. He is not here. And then I do see the chairpersons of all the other local authorities here present, and the honorable members of the other local authorities here present. Welcome to this sitting here. Also, the family of our late Katrina Hanse-Himarwa is also present. At this moment, I want to stand to show acknowledgement, but also the appreciation of her leadership that she has given in this region. Thank you very much. At this point, I would like to point out that the State of the Region address specifically relates to the issues that are happening. But as I have informed this morning over the GMN show, that I am really anticipating, but also my ears are all into hearing today the message from the representative of the central government, but also the one that is serving at the pleasure of the president in our region. And therefore, I'm all ears. Please allow me at this moment, while we all stand, that I will give a chance to address the Hardap region, but also the nation at large about the state of this region in which we stay. May I please ask that all of you stand. You have the floor, Governor.
We may take our seats. Blessed morning to the blessed people present here in the chambers this morning, but also blessed morning to everybody else that is following us this minute and moment on the other social platforms, media platforms. The chairperson had some telepathy this morning with me, and in some way did a bit of alteration, something like that, to how I wanted to start the SORA this morning. But since that's how I kept myself this morning, I'll still have that to happen before I can proceed to the content of what we have before us. But it would be very okay from my side, polite, also befitting the decorum of this house, to say good morning to everybody present. It is not my job to welcome you to this house and to this meeting. It is the job of the chairperson, which was done by Honorable Gerson Daniel Francois Donsap. I'd like us to rise, please. It's not so easy, but somebody has to do it. And this time it is me who has to do it. It's my first time after I was appointed as the governor of Hardap region that I'm going to deliver a State of the Region address without a text from His Excellency the President in the morning saying, Governor, keep it up. It would be also the first time for me to do a State of the Region address that I know after I'm done, I'm not going to receive a text from my boss. I can think of job well done. But also a sister, very dear sister, she would always say, Governor, you know our region. Be confident when you talk to your people. People trust leaders that exude confidence. Now in those words you can hear Katrina, our sister, our former governor, my predecessor, but also the Minister of Education, Arts and Culture. I'm a pastor whether you like it or not, so I'm going to sing a song with you, and then the moment of silence that the chairperson has done will suffice in that space. Am I? Om ka kuche, om ka vibai, matsiri waga, ti mihira kai. Om ka kuche, om ka vibai, matsiri waga, ti May the beautiful souls of His Excellency Ake Godfrey Kengop and Honorable Katrina Moody Hanse Himarwa rest in God's peace. Thank you so much. You may be seated. Honorable Chairperson Gasson Daniel Francois Donsap, all regional councillors, Her Worship the Mayor of Marindal, Honorable Sherin Kok, and all other mayors present, all local authority councillors, in particular the chairpersons and the councillors with them, the acting chief regional officer, and all heads of OMAS, staff members of Hardap Regional Council, local authority councils and line ministries, respected chiefs and traditional councillors and authorities, all political heads, a reality that we cannot shy away from, all political heads, different managers and staff of the business, fraternity, various stakeholders, companies, private partners, and SOEs, residents of Hardap region, the media, and Namibians at large. I'm standing enraptured before you today, both a little bit sad, but also full of joy, to deliver the State of the Region address of Hardap region for the 2023-2024 fiscal year, as mandated by Article 110A, subsection 5 and 6 of the Constitution of the Republic of Namibia, read together with Section 1A and D of the Regional Councils Act, Act number 22 of 1992. Let me, on behalf of the region and indeed on my own behalf, commend the Namibian democracy who has enabled us a smooth transition after the sudden demise of the President, Dr. Hage Geingob, and in the same breath commend and commensurate His Excellency the President, Dr. Nangolo Bumba, the 5th President of the Republic of Namibia, on behalf of Hardap region. Our late president, in his address to the nation on New Year's Eve, declared this year, 2024, as a year of expectations. The expectations of tangible and concrete outcomes. One such outcome is the recently concluded registrations for the upcoming 2024 presidential and National Assembly elections, and what we see and deem as a proper outcome are the numbers in which Hardabians have gone to the registration points and registered themselves. I think Hardabians deserve a round of applause. From about 65,000 voters qualifying to vote in this region, 407 residents of the region came in numbers to exercise their democratic right. Hardap excels. Honorable Chairperson, sir, and dear fellow citizens, our communities in the Hardap region are expecting socio-economic developments to curb the issues of unemployment, drought, poverty, and quality service delivery. Honorable Dongsap, as chairperson of the Hardap Regional Council and member of the Green Hydrogen Council, the green hope that all of us have, the people of Hardap region have hopes that the discovery of oil and gas and green hydrogen will bring to them the much needed relief and development. 3 years ago, green hydrogen was just a topic of conversation as stated by our late president. And today, it's a reality, it's happening, it's ongoing. Institutions and policies are in place. We are deliberate in using the interest in green hydrogen to stimulate other sectors of our economy and new adjacent industries, including logistics, agriculture, and sustainable manufacturing. I implore on you, together with the regional and local leadership, to ensure that the benefits of these discoveries also spill over to our region for its greater benefit. And I want to make it a clarion call to all of us that these benefits will not come to those who sit and wait. You got to be part and parcel of those who wants to get to where the dinner table is in respect to the green hydrogen. On this note, allow me to report on activities, programs, and developments of the different offices, ministries, and agencies as follows. Chairperson and fellow Namibians, allow me to report on achievements by Hardap Regional Council first, through its delegated functions in the region. Chairperson, the citizens of Hardap Regional Council further would want to see what you have achieved of your team in the different 8 constituencies of this region, Hardap. Davep constituency, Malde here, established a poultry project and rehabilitated pits to the tune of 277,692. The poultry is in Davep constituency. In the Gibeon constituency, the Ministry of Mines and Energy electrified South Pit, Swart Dam, August Dam, and the Kaimpasen Kral project to the value of 50,000 Namibian dollars. That's in Gibeon constituency. Marindal Rural, a total of 5.3 million was allocated for the expansion of the oxidation ponds and interlocked paved way in Wakanas and fencing material for the orchard at Benafay, which is a resettlement farm and it's close to Stumbrit. Marindal Urban, our town and the capital constituency, received $139,690 NAM dollars to spend on establishment of vegetable garden at Volksgrond, and also to get us water pipelines at Neo Harbus. Rehab of rural, a total of 576,000 was spent on rural electrification for 54 individuals and sanitation for 30 individuals at Naris and Slip in Stain Drive. Rehab of Urban East, a total of 42,500 Namibian dollars was spent on fencing and debushing of the graveyard at Bahnhof. Rehab of Urban East makes time for the dead. I think they deserve a round of applause. Rehab of Urban West, a total of 495,000 was spent on a primary health care clinic in rehab of Block G. Rural electrification through NAM Power. Construction and connection of the houses to the main line have been completed by the contractors, and construction and connection fees have been paid. The following places have been electrified: Hardap Village, Gibeon constituency; Steindrij, Rehoboth rural constituency; Slip Auction Avenue, Rehoboth rural constituency; Faram Naris, Rehoboth rural constituency; Khoros, Daveb constituency; Vleyveld B, Daveb constituency; August Dam Post 1, Gibeon constituency; Swart-Dam, Gibeon constituency; August Dam Post 2, Gibeon constituency; and Kreis, Gibeon constituency. And for the social media followers and those of you present here, in case you don't know, I'm from Gibeon. That's why Gibeon cannot get more, but we are working there. Honorable Chairperson, members, and the public, allow me to proceed with my reporting on the health care in the region. Health is very cardinal. Public health programs, 97% of HIV clients were put on treatment. The viral load suppression was recorded at 95.4%, in line with the World Health Organization standards. The National World AIDS Day event was celebrated in Hardap region in the town of Mariendal and commemorated in Arnoldstown with pre-events including HIV counseling and testing, TB and cancer screening, as well as voluntary male medical circumcision. It is worth noting that during the week preceding the World AIDS Day commemoration event, 30 men got that little skin card that is called circumcision. I wish to implore all men, even if that's not your culture, please get yourself to those centers so we can stay healthy and keep the nation healthy. The TB treatment success rate was 91% for new and relapsed cases, a 3% increase compared to the previous reporting period, where the region recorded 88%. For the new bacteriological confirmed cases, the region recorded 93%, reaching the World Health Organization set target. In addition, the region recorded a 100% treatment success rate amongst clients with drug-resistant TB. This is a major achievement compared to the 2019 cohort success rate, which recorded a mere 31% with a 42% death rate. This indicates that clients with drug-resistant TB do adhere to their treatment regimens. So I would urge you all to continue to adhere to your treatment regimes in our quest as a country to stop TB. Mr. Chairperson, sir, honorable councillors, honorables, ladies and gentlemen, the region received an award for the period under review in recognition of the most improved performance in coordinating the implementation of hospital pharmaceutical service standard operating procedures, promoting rational medicine use and enhancing reporting practices. You received an award. What do you do? Measles and rubella coverage stands at 78%. This is 19% less than what was recorded during 2022-23 financial year. This is a source of concern. So I'd like to plead all the mothers to bring their children for vaccination to the health centers. We also tried to create jobs, staff recruitment in the hospital industry. The directorate recorded a post-filled rate of 51.4%, which is a 3% increase compared to the previous financial year. Continue to pray, more jobs are coming. Provision of medical equipment. Arno's Healthcare Center has been equipped with a state-of-the-art X-ray machine during the year under review. Marindal Hospital received a new dental chair with all its accessories, including an intraoral X-ray machine. Honorable Chairperson, Mr. Dowser, distinguished members and the public, I now have the honor to report on the activities of the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, the ministry that by all likelihood is very important because that is one of the strongest economic engines of the region. Our late President, Dr. Kingop, envisaged a Namibia free from hunger and poverty. Therefore, I now wish to elaborate on the efforts made by the government towards this hunger-free Namibian nation. This country is facing its worst drought in a century, and the situation is alarming. The drought has resulted in poor crop performance and rangeland conditions. This directly has a negative impact on the livelihoods of farming communities. For the agricultural sector, the government has allocated a total of 130 million nationally towards livestock support, Honorable Chairperson, interventions in crop production, incentives. 130 million has been pumped into this ministry. And during these interventions, from 1st April to 31st of March 2025, let's look at how this money was applied. For the year under review, claims now for drought relief interventions to the tune of 2.7 at that time was reported. The Directorate of Agriculture, Production, Extension and Engineering Services focuses its efforts on drought management by enhancing agricultural skills to predict and effectively ensure that farmers respond to the impacts of climate change. You should apologize me, listeners, and those of you present, because Namaism is coming through very strongly. One such technology is the livestock emergency guidelines and standards. In addition, the implementation of hydroponic fodder production is aimed at ensuring that farmers have fodder within 7 days to sustain the core breed during periods of droughts. The above mitigates the impacts of drought and creates resilience, thus protecting farmers' safety nets. The ministry is implementing comprehensive conservation agriculture. The region has 331 farmers practicing at least one of the three principles of conservation agriculture. It's a different regime of doing farming from the three. At least one is practiced from between three different farmers. The ministry is implementing the following schemes under the Harambee Comprehensively Coordinated and Integrated Agriculture Development Program. The first intervention or regime is the National Horticulture Value Chain that was allocated at 1.2 million for the year under review. The project started in 2019-2020 financial year and is valued at 3.9 million, benefiting 269 farmers with subsidized inputs. The poultry value chain development scheme was allocated 600,000. The project started in the 2020-2021 financial year and is valued at 1.7 million, benefiting 245 farmers with subsidized inputs. The third regime, agricultural mechanization scheme. Don't worry about the sophisticated titles. Let's listen to the content. The Namibia Agricultural Mechanization and Seed System Improvement Project development goal is to improve household food security and contribute to poverty reduction. Farm machinery is being delivered in the region, and to date the Hardap region has received 6 tractors, 33 walking tractors with matching implements such as 2 balers, 2 rakers, and 2 mowers, and handheld equipment, all for Hardap region. For everybody that is a farmer without discrimination, go to the office and access these things. It's for you. It's not just to be packed. A total of 14 contractual farm machinery operators. Now listen to this one. You don't need to have a license to drive these things. Number 14 contractual farm machinery operators underwent intensive training and will operate the tractors and provide plowing services. You just go and ask for the tractor and you get it off the driver and you get going, huh? Go. Amakali is waiting for you at the office. You only have responsibility for diesel, but the rest is on the government. The small stock distribution and development in communal areas is a revolving scheme where beneficiaries are allocated 20 ewes and 1 ram or fancy name buck. To date, a total of 1,100 ewes until today, and 55 rams were distributed to 55 beneficiaries. These people are in Hardap region. Beneficiaries have all received also veterinary medicine and kral material. They got it. The cost of this scheme that we have spent until now is about 2 million Namibian dollars. Die bokke en daai goed is by daai mense. Hulle het gekry. They have it. Number 5. The dairy value chain development scheme is new to the region, milk, and was implemented in the year 2023-2024 financial year and is valued at 2 million. We are getting closer with Hardap region to the region of milk and honey. Milk has come, honey is on its way. In addition, the Directorate of Agriculture, Production, Extension and Engineering Services, as per its mandate, provided extension services through advisory, mentorship, and training to over 4,500 farmers, including schools, hostels, hospices, and backyard or community or individual gardens during the period, this period that we are now reporting on. Honorable Chairperson, land and the delivery of land remains a very sensitive matter. I will therefore provide you with progress made on addressing this land issue and a concern, of course. Security of tenure was provided in communal areas in terms of registration of 137 communal land rights. You are buffered, you are protected. 2 agricultural commercial farms with a combined total size of 10.4 hectares were bought. 5 beneficiaries were resettled on 4 farms with 5 farming units. It is, however, regrettable that when we give resettlement land to our people, they put sorts and numbers in those papers of application, but when they get the farms, they get there with chicken and other stuff, and no cow, no animal. Let's be serious, because resettlement farms are meant to contribute to the economy of the country. It's near gaan bly nie. It's go to work to create jobs, to create food, and to add to the GDP of the country. A total of 476 water points are maintained in the region, of which 37 water points have bad quality water and therefore supplied with water by a tanker until such time that alternative water resources are developed. A total of 16 boreholes were successfully drilled, whilst 3 of those were unsuccessful. No, apart from the 16. A total of 11 installation of newly drilled boreholes, rehabilitation of 15 water points, rehabilitation of the ASAP Earth Dam, construction of a new F dam at Southbed. We know how those people are struggling with fresh water, and cleaning of 2 boreholes in-house. Water tanker services, where we still do not have reliable water supply, is delivering water. 143 water points are receiving water because those 143 points have got salty water and is known as salt block. Emergency water supply. A total of 42 emergency water supplies were done, which included assisting line ministries. Water point breakdowns on water infrastructure. A total of 554 repairs on water infrastructure, engines, solar, pipelines, and windmills were carried out. Community-based management of rural water supply implementation. A total of 41 water committees were established to date. Water sanitation and hygiene programs, community-led total sanitation. A total number of 5 villages were triggered to date, and the progress has been satisfactory. The Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, under the National Water Sanitation Sector Program, has spent a total of 90,000 on materials to support targeted households to upgrade and or improve their ablution facilities. User education. You cannot just give stuff to people, you need to give them some wisdom about how to use them too. About 200 beneficiaries of rural ablution facilities received necessary education on how to use and maintain their ablution facilities during the period under review, closing the door proper, flushing, keeping it clean, stuff like those. Now allow me to move over to information is power. The Ministry of Information, Communication and Technology. Are we together? Yes. The National Symbols campaign under the Nationhood and National Pride programs was rolled out in 5 constituencies, namely the Davip, Aronos, Rehoboth Rural, and Rehoboth Urban West, and Rehoboth Urban East constituencies. The regional office publishes a quarterly online newsletter titled Hardap MICT Update. The inception of the 2 multi-purpose community centers located in Aronos and Slip are proving to indeed bridge the digital divide gap. The Ministry of Information and Communication Technology Hardap Regional Office produced more than 40 news stories focused on developmental and current affairs for the National Broadcasting Corporation, the NBC News, for the main bulletin segment, which is always at 8 o'clock every evening. Honorable Chairpersons, members and the public at large, may I take you through some of the various activities undertaken by the Directorate of Education. What I am reporting on thus far is under the auspices and leadership of the Regional Council. These are functions that are delegated to the Regional Council. During 2023, there was a total enrollment of 28,551 compared to 29,590 in 24, that shows an increase of 1,039 learners. Out of the registered 28,551 learners during 2023, please take note now, only 25,267 learners wrote the end of year examinations in 2023, indicating that 3,284 learners did not sit for the end of the academic year examinations, which is a concern, a great one. This could have been caused by child-headed households, poor academic performance, poverty at home, which resulted in dropouts due to hunger, as high schools do not have school feeding programs, learners turning to drugs and alcohol, to car washes and embassies and whatever have you abuse. This therefore calls for coordinated efforts. Parents to stay awake at nights and keep their kids from shebeens. Shebeen owners making sure that school-going kids do not frequent their businesses, and that all stakeholders stand together to help kids sit from the beginning of the year until the end of the year, because education is key. Out of the 10,743 learners in the junior primary phase, an average of 83% were promoted. Out of the 9,936 learners in the senior primary phase, an average of 71% were promoted. Out of the 4,267 learners in the junior secondary phase, an average of 37.2% were promoted. 31% of the enrolled 1,646 learners in grade 10 were promoted to the next grade. From the total number of 1,393 grade 11 learners, 232 learners representing 17% qualified for advanced subsidiary level, compared to 2022, in which 159 learners, which constitute 16%, qualified for AS levels, showing an increase of 73 learner pass rate. Are they not deserving something here? The region has total of 7 schools that offer the AS level. If you want your kids to go to AS level, these are the schools. Dr. Lema High School, from the 7, tops the list of 32.9 with 32.9% achievement rates. I did not check my screen. The other schools I don't have here. My apologies. Capital projects, infrastructural development, now still in education. Construction of 16 classrooms and 2 ablution blocks at Anis Secondary School in Riabov. The Anis pastors must also start to click Anis Secondary School in Riabov. Anis. Construction of classrooms at Stambridge Primary School, 4. Construction of additional classrooms at Ambelheim Secondary School in Mariendal, just here. Out of the selected 29 schools countrywide, region-wide, the Stambridge Combined School was nominated as the Stambridge Combined School, a school we started a year ago, was nominated as a top school in the school feeding scheme sponsored by the World Food Programme. So therefore, there is no question where there is food, our kids will perform. Let's bring this feeding program to the secondary schools. Those kids are hungry, they cannot concentrate. So that all our schools in the region become top schools. Am I? Now, Mr. Chairperson, sir, with your permission, let me continue to report on the Ministry of Sports, Youth and National Services. The old youth center has been demolished for an amount of 800,000 Namibian dollars. I want you to process that. To take a hammer and beat that bricks into pieces, 800,000, they could use my office, or I could use that money to do something else. But then it's most processes and procedures and institutions. You know how democracy works. And the youth sports stadium is under renovation. The youth sports stadium is under renovation for an amount of 2 million, anticipated to be completed by the end of September 2024, so that the Mariendal stadium can also have something to interchangeably assist them to give some breathing to their grass too. Youth programs such as the 121 Youth Enterprise Development under the HPP kickstarted in Namibian Constituency. A total of 140 adolescent boys and girls were trained under the government to government between Namibia and USA program, which focused on the curriculum delivery in sexual, gender-based violence. Economic strengthening and comprehensive sexuality education. Another 32 young men were also trained in Hardap under the Grassroots Development Program, where a youth garden was established. Kai Tanahab Vocational Training Center has officially started with an intake for skills training in June 2024. To date, Kai Tanahab, in terms of hostel, is full to the capacity because we have got 160 students already enrolled, and we still, as regional leadership, implore the Higher Education Ministry and the Youth Ministry to get us the most anticipated, accredited courses for our region, because our youth is lagging behind. If green hydrogen starts soon, our kids will not get the jobs. We implore ministers, please come through. Our kids must also benefit when the jobs are available. The Namibian police in the Hardap region consists, now this is now police, security, rule of law, and you know most that part. The Namibian police in the Hardap region consists of 13 operational police stations, and the police regional headquarters are in Mariendal. The gender-based violence unit in Rehoboth was recently renovated. A total of 4,449 cases, listen now, our safety and security. 4,449 cases were reported with Rehoboth the hotspot, ranking the highest with 2,080, and Durham police station showing only 4 cases. But you should know that the influence in Rehoboth is not, it's not the Hardap influence. Remember, Rehoboth is closer to Windhoek, and city has got many things, and those city things are spilling over. Our Rehobothers, they are cool. It's just the influence from outside. Crime in the region has increased by 6.3% compared to the crime reported during the 2022-2023 financial year. And if I may pause here, I don't see the police leadership. Yet I must read what they want me to read. And I don't have an apology, Chairperson. Do you have an apology from the police?
Yes, Governor. There was a simulation that was taken part and everyone was supposed to be there.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. May I proceed? Crime in the region has increased by 6.3% compared to the crime reported during the 2022-2023 financial year. It has increased. The most common crimes committed in the region are assault with the intent to do grievous bodily harm, domestic related crimes such as men who do not want to close their zips, rape, theft, all kinds of house breaking with the intent to steal, and of course stock theft. Those are the areas where the increase has taken place. The contributing factors to crime are alcohol and drug abuse. Poverty caused due to unemployment and greed, the police report suggests. Major cases reported. I don't want to believe this, but it has happened. 21 cases of murder was reported in Hardap region, involving 18 male adults and 3 females. A total of 54 cases of rape were recorded in the region. 156 cases of gender-based violence were reported. But now in this one, it's not clarified, but I want to say that it's not only women that are gender-based violence towards. Men are also suffering under very militant and tough women from Hardap region. Outreach programs on gender-based violence. A total of 10 gender-based violence awareness campaigns were launched during the financial year. Culpable homicide. 25 fatal deaths were recorded in 12 motor vehicle accidents in the region. Suicides and or unnatural deaths. 29 cases of unnatural death were reported in the region, which involves 27 male and 2 female. Possession or dealing in dependency-producing substance. A total of 272 cases were reported in the region. 154 cases of possession or dealing in dangerous drugs or substances were detected at Rehoboth and Marienthal. 110 arrests were affected, which included, now look at this, it's drugs. In the olden days, I thought it's only men who does this. But look at this. 110 were arrested, of which 94 are male adults, 15 are female, and one little one, a juvenile female, a girl, a small girl. Somebody is using her. 2,571 kilograms of cannabis with the value of 25,710. 8,373 kilograms of skunk valued at 418,650. These are street values, ne? 583 full mandrax tablets with the value of 69,960. 100 units of cocaine with the value of 10,000 Namibian dollars. The total value of all these illegal drugs confiscated by the police in Hardap region stands at the monetary value of 524,320 Namibian dollars. It's shocking. It's shocking. But I think the police must get a round of applause for a good job done. Thank you. Yeah, the drought is already eating up on our animals, but there are also some other farmers who don't assist, but they come to take stock theft. A total of 386 cases of stock theft cases were reported, animals now. 433 adult males and 1 female were arrested in respect of stealing animals. The number of large stocks stolen were 133, valued at 3.1 million large stock, of which only 28 valued to 62,900 were recovered. A total of 970 small stocks were stolen to the value of 1.5 million, of which 282 valued at 469,297,000 were successfully recovered. I don't know whether we've got all these animals, but they are stolen. Border security, we need to be safe, isn't it? Are you not happy that our borders are patrolled? I'm talking to you. This is our report. Other people are just benefiting. This is our report. Are you happy? Yes. Thank you. Thank you. Border security. Continued border patrols are conducted along the Namibian, Botswana, and Namibia, South Africa borderlines to secure the internal security of the region and the country at large. This police needs a thunderous round of hands for now. Yeah, now I'm moving to gender equality, poverty eradication, and social welfare activities. Social protection services. What is that ministry doing to make life easier for us? A total of 23,083 beneficiaries have been registered and are receiving social grants during the period under review, and the grants are allocated as follows. Maintenance grants at this point in time in the region to the tune of 3,323. Foster care grant 529. Special maintenance grant 318. Vulnerable grants 8,045. Old age grant 8,684. Disability grant, 2,765. All this money comes to Hardap region, and business people, family members are scavenging these monies away from this group of people for their own convenience and comfort, and the money does not go to where it's intended to go, to make life livable for those beneficiaries. Please, these are social grants that the government disperse to help the most vulnerable segments of people in our societies. I know of us going to the Kairakon base, the old age pension day, with the Kari Marisurtegu, those whatevers that people owe you at your shebeens, taking that money from a struggling old person. Let's allow our conscience to start to reign and not our greed. Hardap region, allow these vulnerable people to live from what the government invests in them. Thank you so much. Gender equality and women empowerment. The subdivision held 5 advocacy programs throughout the region: community development and poverty eradication. There are 81 early childhood development centers in the region. 51 early childhood development centers receive subsidies. There are 184 educators, of which 4 are male and 180 are female. A total of 2,218 children are enrolled at early childhood development centers, of which 1,192 are female and 1,026 are male. Children's now at the various early childhood development centers enrolled. The purpose of the income generating grant is to enhance the livelihood of communities for both rural and urban communities. Child care and protection services. A total of 94 children. This is a fancy name that we have coined in Hardap region because Hardap likes doing things, trying to distinguish themselves from the rest, like Hardapians. Now we're calling these ones children working and living on the streets. Were integrated back into school from January 24 in collaboration with other stakeholders. These are kids everywhere known as street kids. But in Hardap, we lack sophistication. We call them working and living in the streets. We have taken a good number of them back to schools, 94 children. It was a collective effort by different stakeholders. Everybody played a role. You can scroll up, my brother. The region reports the following achievements for gender equality, poverty eradication, and social welfare. Income generating activities, equipment, and materials were handed over to 4 beneficiaries in 4 constituencies, which are Davep, Marindal Urban, Rehoboth Urban East, and West constituencies, totaling an amount of 77,000. Mr. Chairperson, now I'm getting close to where democracy happens, where people have direct inputs in what they want, where they conversate with the leadership and together aspire, dream, and work towards what they want in their respective village councils, towns, and settlements. Allow me, therefore, Honorable Chair, Mr. Dong Sapsa, brothers, sisters, community members, listeners on the social media, to report on local authority councils. That's where development should happen, for people to feel that there is change. Honorable Chairperson, sir, I want to reflect on development projects and initiatives, starting with the capital of Hardap region, Tsaraga Ibis, Marindal Municipality, under the auspices of a very tall lady in mind and short in stature, Her Worship Sharing Cog. The municipality has an ongoing partnership with the Shack Dwellers Federation of Namibia, and through their initiatives, 105 erven have been serviced in Embelheim, Extension 4, with water and sewer. Council also serviced 29 erven with water and electricity in Eimaplachte. 7 erven were fully serviced in Eimaplachte Extension 1. 11 houses were completed by private developers, while 2 houses are still under construction. These are things happening in Tsarahaibes. That's a good one. I can see that the Honorable Councillor of the seat is feeling elated. A total of 11 houses were built in Embelheim, 4 and 7 extensions under the Shack Dwellers Federation of Namibia. The area is serviced with water and sewerage reticulation. 3 houses were built under the decentralized Build Together program during the fiscal year that we are reporting on right now. Electrification of 30 households in the Dongerhoek area. 107 prepaid water meters were installed in Eimaplachte and Embelheim. It seems like all of us must move that side, eh? Things are happening in Embelheim. 30 ablution facilities were constructed for senior citizens in the informal settlement areas. I love that. They really deserve a round of applause for that one. Informal settlements, ablution facilities is restoring dignity. It's a big achievement. Council has identified 3 extensions in which the informal settlement upgrading is taking place. And they are Eimaplachte Extension 2 and 3, as well as Embelheim Extension 5, where 1,265 erven were identified, of which 220 erven were allocated, and Mariendal municipality is hands-on. They are still happening, and many will happen. Thank you so much. A round of applause. Mr. Chairperson, sir, allow me to continue to report on our town close to Windhoek, Rehoboth town. 5 houses were constructed under the Build Together program, with 3 still under construction. 346 erven were allocated to Rikoro beneficiaries in Bahnhof Extensions 2 and 3. 118 erven were allocated to some stand beneficiaries in Bahnhof Extension 4. 180 erven were allocated to development workshop in Block E Extension 9 and 10. Under the informal settlement upgrading in collaboration with GIZ, 2,200 erven and another 1,500 erven in Burgershoek and Volstreisvlakte were planned. Rehoboth is on fire. Joint venture with Rehoboth Town Council, 395 erven were allocated to private developers for the construction of low-cost houses. Now, hard work. In Gibeon Village Council, the historical town with capital letters as far as what we are today is concerned. Allow me to speak on to Gibeon, the engine from where all the things started for the liberation of this country. Phase 1 of the sewerage reticulation project is funded by the Ministry of Agriculture, Water and Land Reform, and Ministry of Urban and Rural Development to the tune of 2,440,000 Namibian dollars respectively. An amount of 5 million was earmarked for phase 2 sewerage reticulation, of which 2,701 was utilized. The Gibeon Kagatsu's Village Council has requested Keetmansop Municipality through Keetmansop Electricity Business Unit to assist the council with the token identification rollover exercise, where a total of close to 700 premises were visited since the inception of the program in February 2024. Overall, a total of 615, representing 88% of active meters, have successfully been tokenized, identified also since the inception of the project. A different feel in Gibeon. What are we without Stambreed Village Council? Stambreed's our Stambreed. We've got water there, the aquifer. The council constructed a septic tank in Soetdoornlaagte which accommodates 10 houses. This project was completed using the council staff and financial resources. Listen, council staff, no tenders were used, and that's a very positive initiative and undertaking. We commend and applaud you for that. Putting all the money where it belongs and not tenders and those other stuff. Huh? Thank you, Stambreed, for setting the example. Completion of 135-meter interlock road in Soetdoornlaagte was completed. The National Planning Commission allocated 2.4 million and 189 prepaid water meters that were purchased and, as we speak, are fully installed. Road Fund Administration has allocated 913,660, of which 325,908 was used to pay the previous year's contractor, and the rest is going to be used to proceed with the building of the interlocked road that they are doing in Stambreed. They deserve a round of applause. Kalgrand Village, the home village of the chairperson, Mr. Downsap, Honorable Sir, allow me to talk on to your village. In terms of land delivery, the council in December 2023 allocated nothing to pay, Erwin, to 72 beneficiaries. I like that. The land belongs to people. The land belongs to people. That's Kalgrand for you. That's Kalgrand for you. 72 beneficiaries of low and ultra low inhabitants in Kalgrand in the $5 informal settlement. We are now copying Oganjane in the $5 informal settlement. I don't hope that this is going to continue, ne? Had benefited. The Kalgrand Village Council succeeded in drilling 3 boreholes in the townlands of Kalgrand, and it was a struggle. It was a war every year. It was a problem. And 2 of the boreholes were fully installed with solar-induced water supply points, and at least now, us, the regional leaders, have also started to brief a little bit in respect of water issues in Kalgrand. Give these people a big round of applause. The town made commitments in December 2023 and has invested an amount of 150,000 Namibian dollars in repairing street lights. I've decided that I'm going to go there tonight to fill the lights in Kalgrand at night from far. In support of local food security, the village council proactively, through a council resolution, availed 270 hectares of land in February 2024 to the World Food Program of the United Nations to start a massive green economy. And I can attest to that as a reality. We were there. We received the land. We are just waiting to start any minute after we are done in Stamford. We are going to go to Kalgrand. We are going to create jobs and food security. Kalgrand. Now allow me, Mr. Chairperson said, to report on Tavep Kaus Maldehe Village Council. Valkamp water reticulation valued at 3.2 million, where 116 households were given access to water through Ministry of Urban and Rural Development funding. Brekkiesdorp water reticulation valued at 2.7 million, 116 households benefited access to water through Ministry of Urban Rural Development funding. This happened in Malde here. Road interlocking, Road Fund Administration funded 880,000 Namibian dollars. Malde here extension to electrification at 1.4 million for 20 houses through Ministry of Urban and Rural Development were funded. There is a change in Malde here. People can feel the change. If you allow me, let me go to Kogas Village Council, Aronos constituency. Honorable Salomon Boyce and Honorable Besaidenhout being the chairperson of the local leadership there. In the locking of roads for 834 in Domgap Ngous, a total of 300 was reprogrammed as part of the token identification rollover project at 851,000 Namibian dollars in Kogas. The rehabilitation of the sewer pond in Domgap Ngous is ongoing, and an amount of 1.5 million for rehabilitation of the sewer was spent so far. 31 prepaid water meters, 25 conventional meters, fittings and pipes were installed to improve the water reticulation at a cost of 277,000 Namibian dollars. The council acquired a backhoe loader for 1.3 million. That council has decided they're not going to borrow things anymore. They're empowering themselves, so they bought themselves equipment that they need. Another one that they bought for 521 Namibian dollars is a hydraulic blasting machine. So local authority councils, if you need these machines, talk to Kogas and get them. We're not going to tender anymore. We're going to empower each other in the region. Holistic. Now I am, with your permission, going over to our second economic engine in Hardap region, the tourism industry and what they have done to assist us as a region in collective. Volverdans Foundation has done the following. They've got an initiative known as Rural Revive, which is designed to empower the marginalized people of Maldahir and address economic disparities in the region through capacity building programs. The cost of the project amounts to 3.3 million. It's a private stakeholder input towards development of the region localized to Davip Maldahir. Are you sitting like that? The Volverdans Desert Academy, which is a key component of the Arid Eden project, Volverdans Vision 2030. The project funding in 2023 amounted to 3.6 million. Money they have inputted. The Desert Academy hospitality funding amounted to 2.4 million. We've got about 7 graduates from that institution. The Desert Academy horticulture amounted to 1.1 million. The Namib Rent Family Hideout supports the AME kindergarten in Maldahir with every month food supplies to the tune of 1,000 per month. The And Beyond Mountain Lodge supports the Reverend P.A. Schmidt Primary School in Maldahir with monthly food supplies valued at 12,000 per month. The No Clue Foundation supports the Nabase Primary School in Riabov Rural Constituency with stationery, hostel fees, school development fees, uniforms, toiletries, repainting of the school, water supply, and other needs as they occur. Input from the private sector tourism industry to help the government meet its developmental agenda for the country and in the region. Projects under the auspices, oh now it's me now, okay, of Hardap Regional Governor's Office. My last year, there's no 2 stories about that. We don't know about the future. We only know now and today. So allow me to report on the governor's office now. The future, we'll see what will happen. Phase 1 of the, now these are things I'm just kind of talking to people. People do them. I'm just more talking like, if I talk to the regional council for them to do that, I am reporting because I talk to them. Not necessarily I'm the one who brought the money and do the job. Is that clear? Yes. So these are still, you'd see, these are still other private sector players that are coming through to assist us as a collective regional leadership. This is us being assisted. But since I was now the one marrying with these guys and ladies, it's under my office. But it's a collective achievement. I don't see you smiling, Pastor. It's us. It's so the office of the boss, so you must clap hands for the boss. Phase 1 of the Weepers Media Library Weepers totaling 645 has been completed through collaboration with Common Waters and Wild Impact through the Davip Constituency Office, and my Swar is not here, Mr. Motinga, Honorable. The Multi-Community Media Center, valued at 1.3 million, was sponsored and officially opened with the support of pro-Namib. People in Maldahir are connected to the world. They have access to internet, to information, to knowledge, to education. Fall Camp electrification in Malta here through NAM Power. Now remember, NAM Power doesn't bring electricity to towns and villages. So we had to talk to them as leadership. So they brought electricity to Falcam. I don't even know where Falcam is. 2.9 million, 109 houses were electrified. Construction of 2-bedroom brick house for people living with disabilities, both the father and the son, with wife and other siblings in Huachanas, with the assistance and financial support from the People's Republic of China through the Embassy of China. 200,000 Namibian dollars. And China has pledged to continue to support this initiative to re-dignify people of Hardap region by assisting to build some more houses in this region. Are they not deserving something? Construction of 1 classroom at the AA Deng Primary School in Kalgrant to the value of 350,000 Namibian dollars through NAMPOT funding. Blue economy. An amount of 10 million was sourced from donors to construct the Namakwa Kalahari Children's Home in Kogas. An out of the class, very distinguished architecture that you find when you get to Kogas now. Thanks to the old retired teacher who took the initiative to bring that to Kogas. A model early childhood development center was constructed by the Anglo-American Foundation in Stamford, Marindal Rural Constituency. Wow. I love these people that are helping the region to shine. The region to shine. Construction of 6 classrooms and ablution facilities at the AA Deng Primary School in Kalgrant through the funding received from Japanese Embassy, valued at 1.1 million, together with financial input from the Mother Ministry, the Ministry of Education. They together built these 6 classrooms and ablution facilities. When you drive past that place, you feel so elevated. You can see the junior secondary school coming to Kalgrant next year. That was the reason and the purpose. We are not taking our kids to Tynefeld next year. We bring them to Kalgrant. Collective, us, all of us. It's our achievement. And education is key. They take the lead. The DD sits there. She's just smiling ladily. 8 students were sent to the People's Republic of China to pursue further studies in different fields of studies, while 7 students were sent to level 2 and 3 studies in hospitality, tourism, and guiding at NWR High Cross Barman. 2 that's not recorded were sent to the north, to Ongolo Center, and then 2 tailors, people that do this stuff, so we can wear Namibian made clothing, were also sent to the north. They are about to finish. The Namibia Special Risk Insurer Association, NASRIA, through the Governor's Office, donated, not me, NASRIA, I'm just the channel here, donated IT equipment worth 40,000 to Davep Secondary and Klein-O Primary Schools. Developmental partners such as the GIZ World Food Program, Food and Agriculture Organization FAO, UNDP Build Back Better Agribank, Rise Namibia, and now listen to this one, not just Sunday collections. Look at the flip side of this. And the Lutheran Church have also contributed to food and nutrition security in the region through training, provision of farming implements and mentorship. The church came to the table to empower. Isn't it? Hallelujah, amen, merely to empower. Common Waters is a young and vibrant Namibian NGO which is based in Hardap region. This project aims to support communities by using renewable energy to ensure a sustainable water supply. They are working very closely with the Directorate of Water Supply and Sanitation Coordination. Now, to date, what did they do? They have given 6 diesel engines to replace they have replaced the 6 diesel engines with solar pumps. They have 18 windmills replaced with solar pumps. They have 11 worn out finished pumps replaced with new solar pumps. They have helped in putting a pipeline extensions from Kaitsu to Slankop. They have helped us get 1.5 kilometers from Amalia Post to Amalia to get also a pipeline to get water from the dam to where the people are. Are you hearing the private sector here? 2.5, thank you. 2.5 kilometers from Tresenberg home to Tresenberg Post, again getting water from point A to B. 2.9 kilometers from Horabis Post to Horabis. The Ministry of Health and Social Services received financial support from Pro-NAMIB for deploying 3 staff members. Now this is TAVEB. Ministry of Health, by the injection from the private sector tourism industry, received 3 staff members fully paid by these people, maintained by these people, to provide services to the community. A medical doctor, a social worker, and a health assistant at Maldaye Health Center and Clinic. It's over for Maldaye people to drive to Marindal for medical attention. Let's go to Southport Community, Honorable Paul Isaac's jurisdiction. We have inaugurated, and at that point I should also pause a little bit and ask you for a moment of silence. May Reverend Basiko Bersol rest in God's peace. He was very instrumental to what we were doing as a government. He was actually the lead person through whom we were doing what we had to do in Southport. He was the mouthpiece of those people. He was the transport to those people. He was the hope to those people. May his soul rest in peace. Now, in that community where Pastor is no more, we have inaugurated with generous support by Dr. Sarah Vakshori and her husband, a community center. People can have church meetings and church whatevers, and they would not worry about wind and other weather conditions. They are sorted. And the governor's office has also, I don't know why only this is here, but I don't actually want it to be reported in this manner. but to many schools, in some cases together with Mr. Chairperson, sometimes with Downsap, we have been giving schools cultural attires and shoes and those things so they can look like, so that also happened in this year that we are reporting on. Governor's social programs. Now this is just a paragraph. I'm reading it as it is. The Governor's Kitchen program treats community members throughout the region with a meal, occasionally through pop-up kitchens. The Governor's office was preoccupied with socio-economic activities, which we have reported to already up there. And therefore, Honorable Chairperson, sir, and dear fellow citizens, I will now present the now. We have heard what has happened, so it is only proper for us to know what is still going to come. Sit up straight, fasten your belts, and try to appreciate what is coming. Honorable Chairperson, of your permission, I'm proceeding. Construction of 5 social houses in the region where persons living with disabilities and elderly above the age of 100 will benefit in the towns of Aronos, Tambrit, Kochas, Kalkrant, and Riepov, hopefully in the remaining 5 months of the governor, because that is governor's initiative. It is envisaged to expand the Volvo dance. Now listen, Malde here. It is envisaged to expand the Volvo Dance Desert Academy to Maldihe by establishing a satellite campus called Maldihe Desert Academy. The reason is this town-based vocational training center will be operated by the Volvo Dance Foundation and forms part of the Rural Revive project, which formulates vocational training as one of its main objectives. Riepov Town Council, what do they have in mind? Plans to construct a solar plant to be funded by a developer, engineering consultant services for design of own water storage to be supplied by the boreholes to supply Block E internally to be funded, refurbishment of sewer ponds funded by the Ministry of Urban Rural Development, construction of additional infrastructure such as a road, water network, ablution facilities, etc., particularly in the new cemetery in Block H, Riepov now. Replacement of 1,500 dysfunctional electricity PPMs in Block E, Phase 2, also internally funded. Token identification rollover project for electricity meters for the entire town, including the informal settlements. Electrification of Block H area Phase 1, internally funded also. Refuse removal and landfill management, main contract for 2 years of construction and upgrading of a total of 4 kilometers of streets to bitumen standards to be funded by Road Fund Agency. Repair of boundary fence around Riepov townlands, Phase 1. Upgrading of Henry Bell Street, the road to the new cemetery. That's what we anticipate to see happening during this time until next period of report for Riepov Town Council. Allow me to get to Marindal Municipality. Those of you out there, this is what Marindal is still going to do for its people. Currently in the process of clearing the land to relocate more households who cannot be accommodated in Aimaplachte Extension 2 and 3. Land is now being prepared to accommodate more people. Communal water and mass light will be provided before the relocation process continues to that identified space where people are going to be taken to. Upgrading of the industrial area road. The final phase of the industrial area road is due for completion in the 2024-2025 financial year. That is what Marindal should expect amidst all the others. Gibeon Village Council. We're funding from the Road Fund Administration. Now, there's one thing I've seen in Gibeon. They are very innovative, Chairperson said. They build their TAT road with wheelbarrows and shuffles and hands. They are very creative. They don't use this big machinery to build a whole tight road. And it feels like it was built with the proper equipment, isn't it? Money saving. So they are planning to continue to do that with the 900,000 that they will be receiving, and will definitely continue phase 2 of what they have already taken. You know, from the injunction there by Nkwasep until Jackie's shop, they are now there. They are going to proceed from there with the funding they have received. Are you not happy for Gibeon? But that will happen now through procurement processes there. Stambrid Village Council, with the remainder of the money, the 587,700 from the Road Fund Administration, will complete a 60-meter interlock road extension. What was started will be taken further in Stambrid. Expect that there. In Stambrid also, a general valuation role with funding to the tune of 450 from the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development is anticipated. Construction of a septic tank for 10 houses funded by the council and built by its staff. That's Stambrid, doing things with their money, with their own staff. Still coming. Kalgrand Village Council, I am starting to think, is it the constituency councillor? Is it the local authority council? Is it the new CEO? But there's something scintillating in Kalgrand. They foresee to embark upon building a 30 low-cost houses in Kalgrand for the financial year. With the availability and allocation of budgeted funds to the tune of 1.5 million, the council intends to undertake household sewer connections to the main sewer to the residents of Dongerhoek and Papechai informal settlers. The council entered into a rental agreement. Listen now what's happening to Kalgrand. The council entered into a rental agreement with Woerman Brock for the construction of a Woerman retail outlet on land measuring 1,600 square meters. We don't need to come to Marindal anymore. We buy our stuff somewhere there in Kalgrand. The contractors have already occupied the site, and the chairperson is silently trying to unseat the governor here. Huh? The Kalgrand Village Council integrated Denk Rust private land into the urban jurisdiction of Kalgrand at a value of 3 million and purchasing 45 hectares of land in Denk Rust. Kalgrand for you. Malde, what do they keep for us in store to be excited about? They will embark on a low seal volume road between the town and Andreville, valued at 13.8 million through Road Fund Administration. We are going to drive soft in Malde when we go there to the different churches and do where the people are without worrying about wheel punches. Nah, that's Malde for you. Plans to complete phase 2 of the Whippers Media Library to the tune of 1.1 million. We have already reported about what is already done. What is to come is going to come. In the logging of road at 1 million Road Fund Administration funding, Blakistorp water regulation to the tune of 5.5 million, also through the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development capital budget. Blakistorp electrification 6 million, also through the Ministry of Urban and Rural Development capital budget. Shack Dwellers Federation electrification at 2 million for 20 houses, sect dweller houses, known as SMA suburb, Salomon Mendo's Abel suburb in Malta here, through Ministry of Urban and Rural Development funding. Sheikh dwellers, Federation water regulation, 3 million for connection of water to 100 houses. What does Gochas have for us in store? They are planning to rehabilitate the existing boreholes. Mr. Chairperson, I wish to conclude. And I want to say this since, like I said, we don't know what's going to happen. We are going into a very important phase in the country's democracy to be exercised. That thing is a very surprising thing. You never can really predict what is going to come until ECN is going to tell us what has really transpired. I want to call upon us as a leader, and I'm doing this as a responsible leader, somebody who believes in democracy and somebody who believes in people to participate to keep democracy alive. I want to appeal to us, now that the registrations are done, we are going to go into votes. Please, can I have your vote? Can I please have your vote? I don't want your vote. Let's try. All of us, let's try not to do this by compromising peace and stability. It is your right to go and talk and lobby for support, but try to keep us together. Let's not allow Hardap region to be torn into pieces because of political arrogance and political egos. Let's not be intolerant, let's be tolerant. That is democracy. I want to call upon you to know this. As Namibians and as Hardapians, people who live in this region, we only have each other. Let's not allow any other temporary artificial divides to keep us divided. Let's remain true to what we are. We are Namibians. We are Hardapians. Let the political campaigns not turn us into enemies. We cannot be enemies. It is democracy at work. Let's watch the language that we do when we talk to people from under the tents. Let's speak to get people to support us for political visions and ideologies. Leave dirt digging of other people. In final conclusion, Mr. Chairperson, I want to thank you in particular, very particular. When you started this office, like you called yourself, you are very affectionately calling yourself by that, the principal governing body. When you started with that principal governing body, it was fireworks in Hardap region. It was tough in Hardap region. At that time I was thinking, are we not serving the same constituency in terms of the region? Are we not supposed to find some way, something that should make us see that there is something bigger than this? And I want to thank you for your matured leadership that you have provided. It is actually you who bring these two sides together. Hardap region as much as we know what our political houses are, we have realized that service is the chief call. And that binds us together. We are together. We have differences in thinking and approaches, but we find always a way to find a common ground, because service is the key. We've just said to Namibians out there, let's preserve each other. Let's preserve Namibia. That's the only country we have. Thank you so much, everybody.
Now we can take the seat. Thank you. Let me keep the decorum of the House. I'm also requesting the members in the gallery, please keep the decorum of the House. This is still a full council meeting. It's a special council meeting, but it's a full council meeting. I would like to urge and also just refer to the honorable members, honorable Boyce, honorable Estries, and at a certain time during the presentation of the SORA, I was faced with the question whether I need to stop the meeting because of the issue of the quorum, and I would like to refer you to our standing rules, rule number 4, subsection 4, and I would read subsection 6, and I'm reading into record. If during a meeting, the attention of the chairperson is drawn to the number of the members present, the chairperson must count the members present, and if it is found that there is no quorum, the meeting may not proceed. And I was faced and I had to make an executive decision at that moment just for the reason of the meeting, the urgency, but also to keep the flow. You put me in a predicament, please, honorable members, let's keep the decorum of the House. And also respect, and I would like to refer you to that specific standing rule. I would also at this moment want to thank, I think this, as he have also pointed out, is the last presentation of a SORA from the Honorable Governor. And as I have alluded to early this morning with the GM and the show, that it was a bumpy road, especially when we started. I think in the Namibian democratic context, this region is the first region that had a governor from another political party and the regional council led by another political party. The ideologies, the thinking, and the desires, perhaps the missions differed. And therefore, we started off on that bumpy road. But I must also state that since it's the first time, we have matured as a region. And I think we set the trend for Namibian politics, because we really do not know what's going to happen. I mean, there are other issues that are happening in the other regions, and we are just thinking, wow, we were there. But at least by the grace of the highest, we overcame that hurdle. I must also thank your leadership, Honorable Governor. Thank you for standing alongside us, standing in developing the people and helping the mandate of the Regional Council to come to the fore. Thank you for your heart, your dedication. I do know that you are a man of the practical. You are a pragmat, and therefore, may God bless you in your future endeavor. Excellency, so I would say, with your political career as well, may God bless you, and may you flourish in whatever area you go. Honorable members, I would like to inform you right now that there will be a meeting with the council immediately after this meeting, and then we will have to make a decision in terms
So a very excited Governor, Reverend Salomon April, just delivered his 2024 State of the Region address, and what also is his last address as Governor of the Hardap region. Of course, accounting for activities, developments that took place over the financial year 2023 leading into 2024, and of course also accounting on the latest developments of the current financial year, covering a number of sectors, covering a number of areas, constituencies across the Hardap region. And to help us further understand this just delivered State of the Region address, I'm joined by Ms. Donna Gamatam, who is the NYC chairperson for the Namibian constituency and also doubles up as the Deputy Secretary General within the Namibian National Students Organization, NANSO. Ms. Gamatam, very good day to you. How are we doing first and foremost, and what do you make of the just delivered State of the Region address?
Well, thank you. Thank you for having me. There are a few things or a plethora of issues that I wanted the governor, or I was expecting rather the governor to address,
yes.
Of which he did. Allow me to run through a few of them.
Yeah.
He mentioned or made reference to youth unemployment, drought, poverty, quality service delivery. What I was excited about was there's always a challenge every single year where students or learners and trainees are financially challenged to further their studies, and something under the office of the governor that he is very intentional and very deliberate about is always assisting students, learners and trainees financially to further their studies.
Absolutely.
Something that I also looked forward to was the state of healthcare facilities, especially in the rural areas.
Yes.
Well, obviously without neglecting the urban areas as well, because at the end of the day, your health is your wealth.
Absolutely.
The electrification of houses across the region.
He emphasized quite a lot on that as well.
Yes, and town councils really have been deliberate and very intentional in addressing this issue. Land and delivery of land thereof, which remains indeed a sensitive issue in the region.
Yes.
Rural water and sanitation services, of which reference was made to the establishment of ablution facilities. I was also looking forward to what has been done in the tourism sector to address economic disparities and the development within the region in terms of this particular sector.
Very much.
In terms of street kids, also referred to as the governor said Hardap has a tendency of renaming specific stuff, where he made reference to children working and living in the streets. Another thing that I also looked forward to was what has been done under the Directorate of Education, specifically under this new system where we have AS level learners, and there has been a decrease in terms of the failure rate, obviously, of learners who don't qualify to
and we see those slight increments as well. I believe the current figures stands at 32%, those making it to AS. So there is improvement.
Yes, indeed. I was also looking at recreational activities for the young people within the region. Reference was made to the youth center, which we are expecting to see open in September 2024. Something I was excited about was the establishment of vocational training centers. Vocational training center. I was also looking forward to perhaps this year, since it's the last year in office, to maybe see a university within the region. The university does not have a region. But unfortunately, although there are not any universities, or there isn't a university, progress is being made, and we can see vocational training centers, so that these grade 11 dropouts who can't smoothly transition into the grade 12 system can rather be observed, absorbed rather, yes, by these vocational training centers. Yes, so these were just a few of the things that I expected in the governor.
And he addressed those issues.
Yes, yes.
Quite a comprehensive overview you gave us just there.
Yeah.
But where do you feel perhaps the governor fell short in his address? Perhaps areas that were not properly emphasized on, areas that were not properly updated on, or no updates existed perhaps?
I think it's youth unemployment. I think it's time that we must have statistics in terms of how many young people are employed within the region, so that every single year at the State of Region address, we can say that X amount of young people were unemployed during this fiscal year. And within that year, X amount of learners, or not learners rather, but X amount of young people who are unemployed within the region have been employed or have been empowered through various initiatives. But we must have specifics in terms of how they've been employed.
Yes.
Employment does not necessarily mean being employed by the government, but we can look also at self-employment opportunities and just technicalities and specifics in terms of youth and unemployment within the region.
Of course, development cannot take place in the wake of crime and other social ills. And the governor spent quite a bit of time emphasizing on the inroads that the Namibian police has made, issues around drugs confiscation, and also, of course, touching on some of the other social ills. What do you make of that particular aspect here in the Hardap region?
I think it's concerning that there's been an increment in crimes within the region. That is something that should not be taken lightly. Come to think of it, 2 weeks ago, I was physically assaulted by a man. And I had to spend 2 hours at the police station convincing the first police officer that assisted me why I should be assisted. There is this culture within the region where when you arrive at the police station, you must convince law enforcement officers why you should be assisted. I'm particularly aware of a lack of resources or limitations, of which there's this narrative now that there are not enough vehicles, there are not that, which then begs to ask the question, can we then simplify the policies, procedures and challenges in place to empower people on regional level to then take initiative to get these cars fixed? There are 8 police vans at the Hardap regional headquarters, and every single time when you go to the police station, the reference is made to vehicles are not working. So then it begs to ask the question of, is the person in charge of these affairs not empowered enough? And if they are empowered enough, are they then failing to meet the needs of the inhabitants of the region?
These shortcomings are simply fueling crime. Your incident was just one, and I'm sure a lot of people can relate to this. On the other side, of course, we know that the Hardap region stands in very close proximity to the Klaras region, being neighbors, in fact. Of course, there's a lot of talk, in the Klaras region around green hydrogen, oil and gas discoveries, etc. And the governor, from onset, in his statement, I believe it was within the first 2 or 3 pages, he already spoke about how the region should align itself to make sure that it also benefits from these endeavors. What do you make about these discoveries first and foremost, and what they mean for the Hardap region here?
I think young people in particular are very excited with a lot of these changes. Opportunities are coming our way, self-employment opportunities. I want to highlight the fact that when you look at the green hydrogen model, what is required in terms of experience, skills, and the qualifications, it's quite intense. But I want us to look at the silver lining in this entire process, which is the fact that we can focus on the low-hanging fruits. The green hydrogen project indeed is creating employment. It's just the responsibility of young people to now strategically position themselves in a manner that they are able to be absorbed by the green hydrogen industry.
Is that conversation happening enough in these parts of the country? Are we having that discourse, and are we having that conversation around the table that's inclusive and representative of everyone from where you sit?
Yes, I think this is based just a recommendation and a suggestion rather. When we look at the Green Hydrogen Council from the Hardap region, the regional councillor is sitting from the regional chairperson from the regional council is sitting on that board. But then it begs to ask the question, where is the representation of young people? We must get a young person to sit on the council in order to advise best on how green hydrogen should speak to the needs of the young people within the region and how they should be absorbed.
very much.
Yes.
In conclusion, we could discuss and unpack this, just deliver State of the Region address for the entire day, but unfortunately we are pressed for time. Just in conclusion, reflecting on the Hardap region under the tutelage and the leadership of Reverend Salomon April, how do you sum up his legacy here as governor of the Hardap region, considering he still has a few months left in office here?
I think the governor, and I can proudly say it as a citizen and as of the Hardap region, he has worked.
Yeah.
Indeed, he has worked.
Yeah.
I wish him well, the wisdom, and whatever else is needed in order for him to execute the mandate of his office, because indeed he has served the people of his region, and we will always remember him for being intentional and very deliberate about the efforts in place to ensure that the projects that he had were very specific in terms of speaking to the needs of the people within the region. Yes, tailor-made.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very much. And of course, the character that is Reverend April as well will certainly be missed in this part as well. Yeah.
Yes.
Ms. Donna Gamatam, thank you for being with us. Of course, Donna Gamatam is the chairperson of the Namibian Constitution, the NYC, representing the National Youth Council, and also doubles up as the Deputy Secretary General for mobilization within the Namibian National Students Organization. Just witnessed, of course, moments ago, the 2024 State of the Region address by the Regional Governor of the Hardap region, accounting for activities here, and by his words and those activities that he accounted on, developments are sound here in the Hardap region, and certainly the future does look bright. From myself and Dishisha Mfungu here, and all the analysts as well as our technical team that have been here making sure that these SORA do come to your screens, do come to your radios, speakers, wherever you're finding yourself across the country, and indeed that you are kept abreast of the activities here in the Hardap region. Until next time, it's always a pleasure. Thank you for tuning in.